What I should say is it's been suggested to me that I should investigate certain named Canadian scientists who've been working, I'm told, with the US government on retrieved non-human technology. And it's a secret that's been kept by faceless bureaucrats from the Canadian Prime Minister and the Defence Minister. I sure hope they're not going to try and cover that one up, because it's not going to go well. My first breakthrough in the program was actually an Australian alleged linked UAP retrieval. Details from an Australian Air Force photographer who some decades back was summonsed by his commanding officer in Darwin and told he would be helping the Americans out with an unspecified overseas photography job. I've never spoken about this before, and I've got to be careful to protect my ongoing inquiries. This military photographer, though, was told that the job was very secret, and it was obvious the Australian commander had no idea what he was being asked to do. It was totally need to know. And so I am about to tell you about an alleged Australian involvement in what I suspect was a non-human craft retrieval. Because what this Australian military photographer said he was tasked to do was he was picked up by an American Air Force plane in Darwin, flown to a remote southeast jungle location, driven into a deep part of the jungle, and as he described it, there in the jungle was a disc-shaped craft. Under intense supervision, he was told to photograph everything about it, inside and out. He was then told to develop the negatives in front of his American supervisors. He then had to hand over the photographic gear and the camera and the film and make sure that he wasn't taking any with him. He was then warned not to discuss with Australian superiors what he'd done and what he'd seen, and he never did. I was the first person that learned about what had happened. As far as I know, the Australian government has no idea that this Australian serviceman was involved in a retrieval operation. And the interesting thing was, when I first spoke even tangentially about this incident, I got phone calls from people I knew in Special Forces in Australia saying I should speak to certain people. And I was introduced to Australian Special Forces soldiers who'd been on secondment to the British SAS in Hereford. And one of them told me he'd been involved in a retrieval in a European country of a craft. There are shocking allegations. If I was to accept what these alleged first-hand witnesses were telling me, there was, and still is, a secret Cold War going on between the Russians, the Chinese, and the Americans to secure what I am told, and I have no way of definitively proving this. This is data. It's the start of an investigation. What I am told are retrieved non-human craft. There are even allegations that we are bringing down these craft offensively, using weapons. And I know that sounds crazy. I'm telling you what I am being told. If these claims are true, then we have acted reprehensibly with a non-human intelligence in our avaricious effort to be the first to secure an advantage with their technology. It's a moral stain on what should be one of the greatest moments in human history, first contact. I can well imagine, and I say if these allegations are true, I can well imagine this awful secret is one that some in government have decided it is best to stay concealed.